Imagine.
We in front of the diner right now, about to kick off the finest show, but just was waiting for your specialty invite. Didn't want to.
You're gonna sit here and tell me I'm wrong?
No. What? But yeah, do you know where the diner is? It's right by the free throw goal.
Slaps, the Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
The Wicked Witch of the East.
The Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
we got Bones on a flight. He on the phone right now. Actually, Bones, did you just make it into the airport and just
Yo, that video is hilarious.
That nigga had me dead in that video, bro. You're gonna sit here and tell me I'm wrong?
Wrong?
Alright, I'm on my way to the... Where you guys at? Co-signing with Crazy. Okay. Hey, what did that man sleep on last night? Y'all streaming? Oh, y'all streaming.
Yeah, we already, we in front of the diner waiting for you to get
out. Oh, yeah,
you
live. Okay, let me pull up.
No, I called you the limo, so it should be picking you up right in front of the airport.
Oh, that's a bet.
Bring your ass over to, like, the free throw golf.
Oh, say less. Oh, say less. On the way.
All right, well.
See if they got me.
Well, hell yeah. You got this diner, like,
conference,
look at this spot. You got the hot dog diner. But
conference me in while y'all do that thing.
Hey, Bones, Coach Bones, Coachnate had some here for the diner, a new name for the diner. What name was that, Coach? That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, why is it not the Dimer?
Yeah, the Dimer.
The Dimer.
The Dimer Diner.
The Dimer. That's tough. Yes, sir.
It is the Dimer Diner. That's why we left the other name out. But you got a hot dog diner inside of the Dimer Diner. A little free throw golf.
Who the hell going to a hot dog diner, bro?
I don't know, bro.
Oh, they got my nigga. Oh, hold on now.
I don't know who the hell goes in a hot dog diner. That's not great advertising.
Why they got me in this glitch?
Let's go to the diner.
I'm glitchy.
Where you glitch? Are you in our session?
Nah, I was seeing black for a second. Hold on.
Alright, I'm gonna start kicking off the show here with until you pull up in your limo. We roll the red carpet out. But slapps6GL with Coachnate, Coach oBonesjones from last year. 6GL finest show. And we here in front of the Dimer Diner, we got your game coverage. I mean, we're going to start off first. The first game was actually with the wildcard team owner oBonesjones, team cap ICYGRL versus actually Coach Nate, who's standing right here, right beside me. And I mean, these guys went head to freaking head in matchup status. So I mean, you want to take it, Coach, because you know better than I do, Bones and Coach, being in that game yourselves, about how the things went down in that game.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a nice 3-game set there, and you know, we were our best of 3, I should say. We were able to get 2 kind of squeaky wins right there. To start off with, we were able to pull off the sweep, but it wasn't easy by any means. They had some absolute ballers go off. I mean, B Fleet, who is I think a previous top 200 guy, has played a couple of times there.
He's a top 250 and actually a top 150. He went all the way from Florida. So he used to live in New York, but he went all the way from Florida, all the way down to the Barclays Center, because he's top 150 last year. And he didn't get drafted. So, I mean, he's looking for it this year. This year's his year. I mean, you don't get called up 2 years in a row for no reason. So,
well, game 1 we were able to take it 63-54, but I mean, he put up 16 points, 8 assists, and 8 steals, and you know, they were able to get their guy 5 going in the second game, and he was able to get 26 points there. But it was just, I felt like we had a really complete game on our side on both games, and we were just kind of able to go away 64-61 there. But yeah, I mean, so far that's been we kicked off the tournament, us and Bonesjones did. I mean, it was just it was kind of a cool way to start us off. And from what I understand, there was quite an amount of viewers on that, and so we're definitely able to be, you know, a competitive team and able to be hopefully entertaining to those that watch. But for especially those teams, that was our wild card 2 team, and they were kind of able to piece together a really competitive team with ICYGRL, X5, oBonesjones, Neek, and B Fleet. So really good set there.
Okay. So like Bones, you being on the other team, I mean, these guys here, they Coach Nate picked a lot of his players because you know what, they all met in a flight game originally and decided to make a team, and now they've got the best chemistry, best team chemistry, friendship process, family process going on over there, and I mean, they're a tough fight. I mean, definitely the defending champs are Team Radiation, and Team Radiation is one of the top teams coming in. They did get to keep their team from the last tournament, but these boys here have been heavily grinding every day in team, into the trap chat, into Chicken's chat. Definitely getting that experience. So, I mean, you being on the other end of things, how did you feel how the game went for your side of folks? Because I know you guys played them definitely really well for being a wild card team.
For us, I felt like it wasn't enough chemistry. It wasn't enough. I mean, we had the pieces. We didn't put them together well.
Pieces were definitely there.
Yeah, we had the pieces. I really wish I would have played the first game. I wasn't home yet. I had got home just in time for the third quarter of the first game, so I watched the rest of that game. The second game, I think there was just too many late game mistakes that would have been solved, I guess you would say, had we had more time to play together.
Like the big difference maker. Like let's say you got to go in 2 games. Do you think you would have beat them one game?
We definitely would have won that second game. I don't know about the first game. They had a lot of heavy momentum. Mm-hmm. Second game we would have won if two key possessions went our way, with Trey not kicking to me on the pop, and then surprisingly Trey coming down and fouling when we were in the bonus. I think if those 2 plays didn't happen, we would have had a chance to win the game, because we were actually winning by 1 before those plays happened. But I mean, to speak on Coach Nate's team, that team is well put together. They play well. They help each other on the court. That's one thing. They don't let one player die. And if it is, it's more than likely somebody that's a giveaway bucket. That's what I call him. Like a center in the paint, like he's the last option. Mm-hmm. But as far as threes is concerned, they don't really let their teammates die, and I like that. I like a lot of teams that stay accountable, and you could tell that they were definitely talking to the party, because they were abusing our mismatches. Mm-hmm. Pick and roll wasn't really working, so they started dotting corners. Corners was hitting shots, and corners was driving, and then on the fast breaks, they just knew how to fill the gaps and get the ball to the open man. So that team had a lot of momentum going into the second game, because that first game wasn't really played that well, I'd say, by the wild card team, but they showed that they can.
They have progression. They definitely have a lot of talent.
They showed that they definitely made adjustments, even though I got on the court and we switched some people around and whatnot. Like, they know they was gonna be in a dog fight. I told Coach, like, look, man, you're gonna be in a dog fight. I'm on the court now, and that's what it was.
I think we had about like 50 viewers during your guys' game, and I think I watched. I had
about 20 in mine, and then Trey had about 25 in his.
I watched most of the games, pretty much every single play during the series, and I'd say the best games the series that I watched anyways were definitely the oBonesjones wildcard team versus Lock City, and the second series that I got to watch was the Amp team owner, Amplify, his team, Reapers of War, versus the Team Radiation, the defending champs. I mean, that was definitely an amazing series to watch as well. Both great freaking series, so I have to say, like, you guys definitely put on a show. It was definitely fun to watch that game for sure, and I'd like to see you guys come back out and play in the elimination game, Bones, versus Reapers of War, and let's see how that goes down.
I want to make sure too, I notify, and kind of recognize some of our people. Like you said too, I think it's awesome that a lot of these teams are set up out of the flight. Scooter and I have been playing together for quite some time, since 2K17, and we found bellow last year, just kind of in the random rec setting, and with combine starting today, you'll find players like that often in the combine too, if you just get out there and you maybe connect with somebody, something like that. But we had not really played with Queen of the Six or Dead Shadow, who is yet to even play in this tournament yet, but when he does, it's going to be really big too. I feel like we have a really deep team, and we were able to get everything together. And really, the thing that there may be better stick skill players out there other than us, but I chemistry wise and positivity wise, that's really what we preach, and we want to make sure that team wise, every time you come at us, we're going to be solid. So even when adversity hits, like we've trailed in a couple of games and fought and come back really, really quick. But I mean, listen, if you're not watching some of these, other players on our team, I mean, it's anybody can go off at any given moment. Bellow has had 2 games that he's gone off on. Crazy has had 2 games he's gone off
been
on.
A sleeper in the tournament for sure.
I'll say this too with Scooter, man, he hadn't even gone off yet, and that's the one that that will be the least surprising when it does. I mean, it'll be there. That will happen, and I don't know when it will, but it will. But
it will.
We have 2 really good glue players too, and
a family setting as well,
6.
which is
great. Yeah, it's just I think I like where we're set up, and it's like BonesJones said too, man. It's a it's a wild card setting, and so I think we want to make sure that
you guys have had time to get the chemistry. They didn't really have the time to get the chemistry.
Talent never beats chemistry. I don't care in what facet of life.
Talent in the world, exactly.
You have all the talent in the world on one team, but if you ain't got chemistry, you ain't gonna be shit. Now, talent and chemistry,
that's
you're dangerous.
It's dangerous.
You're dangerous.
It's like having a brain. It's dangerous. But before I move on to the next game, the Reapers of War versus the Team Radiation, and I'd like to say that we did have the Hydration Nation has been in the team arena. They've been grinding out teams. Billion, Young X got next, Nando going off in the team arena, blowing teams out by 50, 60. Draft teams are looking real nice. I mean, we did have Untold, one of the former 6GL1 teams, get beaten by one of our 6GL draft teams, which was great. Reapers of War out there doing their thing. And I have to say, watching the game, the wildcard team versus Coachnate Lock City, the patience that B Fleet had brought into the game is literally what I can't preach anymore about. I mean, that patience is literally being able to slow down the game and, just be patient enough and think and let the game come into place instead of forcing those shots or forcing those passes because you're afraid to get the turnover. Utilize the fake pass, triangle, circle, just how B Fleet did it, and set up the offense, and then utilize what you got available and what the defense is giving you. As we move into the Reapers of War versus the Team Radiation game, I'd like to start out. It was an amazing game to watch. It was a constant battle between Amp and of course Blicky was on court constantly battling J Money, and I mean, it was a great game. I mean, J Money hasn't come out with the same energy that he did in the first tournament, but all to it, man, they're still in the tournament. He's keeping them in there. They're all playing defense. They're adjusting to the process, and been amazing. So Coachnate, Bones, I know you guys have watched a lot of the games, and please chime in and let us know what you've seen and certain players that you think are really shining through this tournament.
Go ahead, Bones. I'll go second.
To speak on what you said about J Money, I think J Money, I don't know if it's a confidence issue with him, but
And
I
that's
know
not
that
J Money Rep. That's Money 2 Raw we're talking about.
money too raw. Making that clear. I know what Money's capable of, and I think he's. I don't think he's playing to his potential. He's still winning. They're winning games. You know what I mean, but I don't think that they're playing to their potential. I don't know if his confidence is low, confidence in the team, but if they want to continue to win games as a unit, they're gonna have to instill some confidence into Money Too Raw, because when Money Too Raw got the green light, when he feel like he got the green light, he know he got the green light, it's lights out. But they just gotta get him comfortable in that setting. I mean, get him comfortable on that team, get him comfortable in their offensive sets to really, drive in some W's. And they gotta knock down shots. I mean, they left a lot of, they left ICYGRL on a couple open shots and whatnot, and I think she went 2 for 7. Let me look at it. Yeah, she went 2 for 7. And if teams watch the streams closely, I'm gonna look to leave her open most of the time. That could be her downfall, or that could be an opportunity. And you just gotta look at the game, just like that. Amplify, he's another PG. You know what I mean? You gotta get him comfortable. You gotta get him comfortable. He can give you 25, 30, but you gotta get him comfortable. And I don't know if it's the screens or just the backdoor cuts and unnecessary movements or whatnot. I don't know what it is, but you just gotta get him. You gotta get your PG to the point where he knows that I can get a bucket. My team trusts me to get a bucket. If I don't, then I know I can get my team open, and what I'm saying, I can get the ball to somebody else. Blicky had 20. He did what he could. CJ had 14 rebounds in that game 3. That was really good. I like to see that. I don't see too many centers in these tournament games getting a lot of steals, and I need more. I need more out y'all centers, man. Everybody in the league, all the centers in the league, I need more steals, man.
Avatar's really been stepping up on his steals, if I have to say anything. I mean, ever since Ank and me and him we were in a chat one day, and I said, listen, you watching them back doors, but I said, what's going to make you that different center, like oBonesjones and some of the great centers, is watching that pass lane. Like, you come out of your zone sometimes just to get that pass lane when they break into the court.
Just with me, I get a lot of steals. I'm just watching the next guy. You know what I mean? Because I know that the back door is going to happen, and you know what I'm saying, that's the next guy. You know what I mean? The pick and roll is going to happen and whatnot. But if he's calling that back door, if you 6'11", 7 foot, whatnot, all you got to do is just put yourself in the lane of the pad. The ball's gonna come to you. Same thing with Fifis and stuff like that. If you see a guy going from the half, if you just step into that pass lane, that's a pick. I mean, a lot of centers don't know that. You don't even got to press square sometimes. He'll just catch the ball on his own. It's all about positioning and whatnot. I just need to see some better positioning out of some of these centers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes from confidence from the lock.
Chemistry. The coaching.
Yeah, I think that just comes from confidence from the lock, because a lot of locks aren't really, they just assuming. It's a lot of assuming going on. You know what I mean?
Defense is gonna do, yeah.
And I expect assuming from wild card teams. I don't expect assuming from teams that's been together. You know what I mean?
Hold on, oBonesjones. Hold on, Bonesjones. You saying assuming a lot. So are you making an ass out of you and me right now? I just want to know.
Hey, that's what you do when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me. And with all these teams that's been playing together and whatnot, you can't be making asses out of yourselves. Y'all locks, y'all gotta put y'all pride down and talk to these centers. Let them boys know what's going on, and them centers, y'all gotta let them locks know what you can and can't do, so you can go ahead and step up or get back, get some rebounds, or get in the pass lane, get some steals. Like, we just need to see some more. It can't just be who PG can get them more buckets.
For your teammates sometimes, and your teammates
exactly.
Accountable for
accountability. It got to be accountability, trust, execution. If you got those three, you can win the game.
So
every
Nate,
time.
I know they did capture one win. They came out really strong, and it looked like Radiation made adjustments for the second and especially the third game. It came down to a
Mhm.
few like one possession literally. Coach Nate, who do you, like? You're a different eyes. Obviously, you watched a lot of the games too, as well as Bones and myself. What did you
Mhm.
see? Did you see any players shine? What did you see during the game? Like, did you get to see something out of the ordinary? Did you get to see a couple players shine? Do you see some
Sure.
come up players?
Well, I mean, I think we already mentioned Blicky, but I mean, the dude's a walking bucket. I mean, he's just a walking bucket. I mean,
Almost
with
unguardable.
well, and the thing is if you would have watched Game One on Radiation versus that wild card team, you would have the same agreement. He had 35 points, 16 to 22, and 1 to 3. Now, granted, that's there's some leaks in there, stuff like that. Amplifier, you got to be smart with how he goes in there. You can't just leave him completely unguarded because when he gets in the rhythm, he's going to start shooting. But so far, it seems like the Radiation kind of kept him in check, and then they kept Blicky in check. We Bellow, man, our point guard he's kind of hard to stop. He does a lot of dribble moves. He's in and out. There's just a lot of a lot that you have to do as a lock when somebody can hit you from all three levels.
Mm-hmm.
I have the pleasure, and I put air quotes around that, of playing lock on our team, or at least at the top of the 2-3 zone. Maybe we'll call it an off-ball lock at times,
Mm-hmm.
on-ball lock at times, whatever you want to call it. But well, yeah, I've played against most of the guards that are in this tournament. I've played against Poor Boy. I played against Money Raw. I played against a lot of these cats, man. And dude, Poor Boy's the same way. Listen, you can't let Poor Boy get into rhythm. He'll torch you.
Yeah, he will.
And he's got a couple of shooters on his team. They're going to be dangerous. I think they're a big threat for the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah, they are. They are.
and I think he's motivated. I think he's
Definitely
got
made
a
some adjustments. And that
he-
win the other night gave him some motivation for.
Give them some boost, but they got to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and some people carry chips on their shoulder, and other people carry boulders. I'm not saying Poor Boy's got a boulder, but I'm saying if there would be anybody in the league that might have one, would be him. And he's
I,
coming.
I think it's
He's
trust
coming
of
with
his
that.
process. He's got to just trust his
Sure.
teammates, and the whole trust issue is taking a couple L's and seeing what your teammates are capable of on the court, which makes you a better PG because then you're able to know what they're capable of in those tight game situations of who you have to
Absolutely.
go to of when you're locked up or clamped up.
But
Yeah,
people that want to prove something, they will go an extra mile every time. They'll go a little bit harder every time. Now sometimes it causes them to push too hard, and they'll be it's the old saying, man, shooters shoot. So you may have a guy go 3 for 40 in the game, and not really 3 for 40, but it feels like 3 for 40, even though they're 3 for 15.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But with
I'd
Poor
like to
Boy,
call out
man,
one player though in this competition who I
sure.
really seen in the draft process. We're doing the drafts. We had all the drafts through the Raptors GC Discord community and highlighted there. And we had in the draft chat we had the drafts going down and sixth man. Charlie saying to me the night before we all had him come out on the court for rank ups, and I think every
Mm-hmm.
player got picked that night. Um, the bottom line is, he said to me, Slash, I don't care about being on a team, man, right now. He's like, I just want to get that experience. I'm like, but Charlie, you have that experience, right? So, I mean, he did get picked up as sixth man, and he wasn't a fifth round pick, but he played in the tournament as a fifth round pick. And if I were
Mm-hmm.
to give sixth man to anybody during that competition, that game series, it would definitely be Charlie 150, who got the game late, just started playing it, and now he's coming out with that pure point forward and showing some skill on the court. So, hats off to him.
It's me,
Well, I mean, I think so
315.
far one of the better play. I mean, there've been 3 people that on my list that I go, man, they've just had a tournament. Like they've just been balling out this tournament. B Fleet is one of them.
Yep, definitely.
I think that he's going to be one of those guys that at the end of when this thing's all said and done with, people are going to be like, man, I wouldn't mind having him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think Blicky for that first game gave some noise to some people. Now, granted, he's still kind of one of those. he's like crazy in a lot of ways.
He's a
with
sleeper.
what we
He's a
got.
sleeper.
He's going to get a quiet 30, and you're just not going to know what hit you.
Yep, that's true.
But I think I'll tell you this: if people that know 2K, and let me say know 2K because 2K is not necessarily basketball at times, it's 2K. People that know 2K need to watch someone like Queen of the Six on our team. Need to watch someone like Bonesjones. They need to watch somebody that maybe not putting up those numbers, like Charlie, not putting up the numbers that some of these other guys
Ace
are.
Elite. Ace Elite's a great
Ace
defender.
Elite's another. Yep,
I see
another
Wavy
good one.
coming in. Wavy's a great offensive, defensive player.
But when I think about just doing what is asked of the person that's there, I think there needs to be some. We need to give some attention to someone like Queen of the Six there. We need to give some attention to someone
Very
like
quiet.
Bonesjones.
Queen of the Six. Yep.
And she's basically isolated everything in the paint in every game we played.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't, it's not going to be talked about because that's not really a defensive efficiency rating is not coming up on a sports sheet. You know what I'm saying? But it is there. And, I know Bonesjones does the same thing. I think he forced 3 steals, 4 steals in the paint. That's great. But he probably forced even more bad shots in the paint. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of thing is not very common. Icy does that a lot. Icy is one of the better glue players that I've seen on 2K, period. She just gets
Icy's
in
a great defender.
whatever team she's in, though, she's gonna make the team better. She gets around that team and goes, hey, let's do this. Same for, Queen of the Six.
Very vocal.
Same for Cold Shot. I've seen Cold Shot really inject into
Cold Shot didn't get to play in the tournament due to timing. Let me say something about this. So Most Wanted was put together through waivers and call up a friend just before our game against Team Flex, and we had to choose a PG that we knew had to leave the games at some point, and we just did what we did. We wanted to come out and show out, and Cold Shot couldn't make it, but Cold Shot definitely my one of my top picks, my first round pick, and Cold Shot's one of the most vocal players on the court to coach the defense with, always calling players, always calling switches. Very quiet on offense to listen to the PG and keep his ears open for what's available to him on the court as well as his the team around him. So go on, Coachnate.
No, I think that's exactly right, though. We just you got to have a mix. Some people are meant to be glitter, some people are meant to be glue, and you got to know your role. I'm not a glitter guy, man. I ain't built for dancing around out there, shooting threes, driving in twos. I'm not built for that.
That's a poor boy, Blicky, Money Too Raw, Amplifier,
Bellow, all these guys, man. Most of these PGs that
Quay.
Like, I'll fall asleep sometimes watching my own point guard. I'm like, dang, bro, he just, and then, oh crap, he dotted me. It's just
Ziggy
like
Zaya.
Ziggy's the same way, yeah. And it's like, it's funny. I can pick on Bellow because, man, watching him, me and a couple of others, we just joke about it. It's like, man, it's just a show. Like, we just enjoy watching it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and he'll hit us, and we're like, oh, yep, got to shoot. He's just good. Like, and same with Poor Boy, man. Playing on ball, man. If he passes out of it, it's almost mesmerizing. Some of the behind the back, the left, the right, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
A lot of good PGs are built that way. There's also PGs that are glue guys. There are people that have to get it to shooters, and the PGs that are glue guys have to have set plays and move plays and stuff like that. I've talked with Crazy about some other people that we know we may run point guard with at some point, or we may run some kind of set with at some point. If we do, we know that we can't ask him to do what, say, maybe a Bellow would do, or what a Poor Boy would do, or even what a Blicky would do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We got to be able to say, hey, let's play to their strengths. You know what I'm saying? If you bring me out on the court and ask me to get you 30 points, we're going to lose. I may get me 30 points, but it's going to be off of 20 shots, 22 shots, 24 shots, and that's not great.
Because you're more of
what I'm saying?
Role player for the team.
I'm definitely built for a role player. But I also know, like, for my situation too, they are, yeah, and you have to have a mix. You have to have that chemistry.
And you have to have people comfortable being a role player, being that defensive player, being that extra pass player, pass first player on your team, knowing what to do with
I'll
the
be
ball.
the first to say that I fall asleep on offense sometimes, not necessarily intentionally, but there's some times where, I need to be looking left, or I need to be looking right. I need to be looking, for something else. Like, I need to be doing something. But and it's really funny too. I think this needs to be said, especially with Combine coming today, and all this kind of other stuff. And whether you're building a team, or you're looking at building a team, or you're looking about being a part of a team, don't have your primary ball handler be the on-ball defender. Don't do that. If you are having your primary ball handler try to be an on-ball defender, they're going to tire out, and that's one, it makes them ineffective on offense, and two, it makes you ineffective on defense, because you're not putting your best foot forward on both sides. Just find a way to get in there. You do need a lock, or you need somebody that can guard. I'm really happy because I know my role. If I'm on ball, I know I'm going to a corner. If Crazy's on ball, he knows he's going to a corner. So on offense, I don't have to dance a lot. And if I did have to dance a lot, that wouldn't be good, because I don't have a lot of stamina, man. I've been chasing people through screens, it's one of those things where you got to know what you're doing and just think about the next step. Think about the other person. Anticipation is the hardest thing that you can have in sports. It's one of the toughest things you can have in sports. Doesn't matter what you're playing. Doesn't matter if it's, like I said, baseball, softball, football, whatever it is, man. And there's, we're blessed right now in this league to have, mixed genders, man. We have girls playing, we have guys playing. We've got the ability to say, hey, look, they're coming from two different walks of life. We've got people that, they're coming from Canada. We've got people from the Southeast, like myself,
Tell them, Nate.
And so when you have those kind of things, man, you got to understand all those people operate differently. They all operate differently. And so when you do that, there is some base knowledge, though, that you have to have. Like if I may use a slang word for something that may not be common in Canada. And somebody from Canada may use a slang word that may not be common from where I'm from.
Like when I pull up to Nate and say, he comes into my party and I go, "What you saying, Nate?" And he's like,
right.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
what
I don't know. What did I say? So and it's one of those things.
Like, how are you?
and there's certain people, man, that man, New York dudes are some of the best ballers on this game. Right? Like hands
Most
down.
competition definitely comes out of New York, Detroit, New Jersey.
But it's also one of those things too, man. Well, they will bust you in a hurry, bro. They'll clown you from start to bottom, and if they're clowning you, that usually means they like
Bones.
you. But and Bones may be laughing at me. I don't really know. But if you're getting clowned by those dudes, you got to be able to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just be like, man, these dudes don't like me. No, they do like you. That's why they're joking on you.
It's how you adjust in these tough game situations, man, which makes you different. And before we end off here, I want to say something, Coach. We're gonna end with Jones build of the day, of course, but Coach, I want to say something. Coach Nate, when he's speaking to you guys, everybody who's watching in the stream and who's going to be watching in the future, he is a scout in real life. Like that's his job. He's actually a scout. He works as a scout in real life. Everything this guy is saying and everything this guy is preaching to you right now is absolute facts. And I would take everything that he's saying and try to put it with you on the court. Another thing I would like to put out there is I see a lot of games where people are setting up in a 2-3 zone defense. When you call 2-3 zone defense, figure out who your on ball and your off ball locks are right off the bat. If there's two people down court on the inbound pass, press up. Do not let them set up the offense. This is what's costing a lot of offensive plays and teams able to set up and capitalize on these plays is you're allowing them to come up the court and call the back doors. Jones, I'd like to end it here with your play of the day and a little bit of your defense that you can chime in about how you taught us to look for the pass ahead of time, get in front of the pass as opposed to just waiting for the passes to come down court.
Yeah, just going off what you said, your last comment about the press, people don't understand how important a successful press is. Think about it. You got 24 seconds on the shot clock. If you could successfully press somebody all the way up the court, by the time they set up in the offense, they only got about 12 seconds to do anything. Like with point guards like what's Coachnate? Coachnate, what's y'all point guard name?
Bellow.
Bellow.
Bellow from
Point guards
Quebec.
like Bellow, J Money that do a bunch of hesitations behind the backs and stuff like that. That stuff takes time. And if they come down the court and they got 17 seconds to do all of that stuff, that's just 7 to 8 more seconds that they have to work the point guard. I mean, to work the lock in the center on the pick and roll,
Or call a play.
or call a play or something like that. If they only got 12 seconds, by the time they get into their offensive set, they only got about 5-6 seconds left on the clock, and by that time, a scary is coming. So that's why when 5 or 6 seconds is left on the clock, I usually sink back a little bit into the paint. You'll see me do it a lot. When there's time left on the clock, I usually sink back because that's when the backdoor oop is coming, or that's when the point guard is getting ready to throw up a nut shot, pretty much. So
exactly. When there's 6 seconds left on the clock and that PG's dribbling that ball between that legs, he's literally waiting for those corners to fall asleep so he could dot the corner on a green light shot, and the corners will fall asleep. I see a lot of people doing it all the time. I see the corners falling asleep. They're looking at the PG dribbling. There's 6 seconds left on the clock, and boom, dot to the corner with 1 second left on the clock.
Yeah.
Well, and with your
that's
set,
cause
from
letting them
plays
set up.
too, man.
Yep.
I mean that right there. I mean, they'll be calling in a set play. What gives you time as a defense? If you start seeing that guy, dribbling in one place, or trying to kind of stall as we're talking about here, do exactly what Jones just said.
Play more defense.
Fall back.
Be
Assignment zone defense, man, and just that can win.
And just wait for it.
Stay loyal. Wait for it. Yeah.
Because I say it all the time. I say it's coming. Just wait for it. All you got to do is just be ready and wait for it. And 9 times out of 10, whenever I say that, either somebody throws a back door or somebody tries to go for a bailout oop.
Facts.
You just got to wait for it. That's all you got to do is just sit back and wait for it. Because 9 times out of 10, that point guard, he's not going to want to shoot a dumb shot, especially if he's getting, if he's had a couple of bad possessions, he's not going to want to shoot a dumb shot to put himself on cold.
Absolutely.
So he's definitely going to be trying to pass when there's that much time left on the clock. So that's why a successful press, and a successful press is not just on the lock. Let me put that out there right now. The lock is not the only person responsible for a successful press. It's the guy also guarding the hash and the center to step up. Because 9 times out of 10, when the point guard is getting pressed, he's looking to pass the ball up the court to the center. If the center isn't open, I always stay in half court because I know I got the wingspan. As soon as that point guard throw the ball, if he don't bounce past it, most PGs don't have the IQ to bounce past it. If he don't bounce past it, that's going to be a steal.
GG's.
And now the point guard looks boxed, and that and that lock is the hero of the day, even though I got the steal. I'm perfectly fine with that because that gives the lock the confidence to stay in that dude's chest and ride him all the way up the court. You know what I'm saying? And that gives me the confidence because I'm the one getting the steal. I'm building my takeover. My lock's going to have his takeover. 2 locks, a lock and a rim with their takeover versus a point guard who's cold in a center that probably can't shoot. That's scary. That's scary.
Nate.
And you start looking at your 3rd and 4th options there, which
and then that's when you start stepping up and waiting for that dot to the hash or waiting for the dot to the corner. They're gonna start throwing scaries, and then that's when that flood gonna start coming. Nate was idle too long. I almost got that message.
But before we end up, because we are obviously we're a little bit over the show time. I'd like just to end off saying just
with
speak
the
a little
build
bit of who Bones Jones is before we get into his build process here. And Bones Jones, obviously, first year top 250 player, got the email. I mean, he's definitely got the experience. He's a competitor of WR. He's a competitor of a lot of leagues. He's not just PS4. He also gels on the Xbox as well. And I mean, Bones Jones, definitely a build fanatic, and he has his build of the day here for you all. So let's end it up with Bones Jones' build of the day, guys.
Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different with the build of the day. I think, now people are not going to like me for this, but I think, I ain't going to lie, that for lockdown, the 2-way finisher with the lock takeover or the 3-level scorer with the lock takeover, 6'7", 200 and I think You got to make them 35 pounds in order to get the 3-level score. If you make that 3-level score, that's a glitchy build because that build gets
Ain't that
like
the B-Fleet build?
I think so because that build gets like 7 or 8 playmaking badges, and that's downhill gold right there. You need downhill when you get steals. You don't need pickpocket. Put those 4 upgrades into some other badges. I mean, Clamps Hall of
defensive
Fame
leader would be nice for your teammates too.
Yes,
Lockdowns.
exactly. Like at first, at the beginning of the year, I thought that Pogo Stick Hall of Fame was gonna be a badge for centers that aren't disciplined, but then I realized that what I'm saying. But I am not going back on this at all. Pickpocket, don't put that badge on. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's making a lot of people. It's making a lot of people. It's making a lot of people play like they shouldn't play. I mean, and they get mad when they reach and they get a foul. It's like, oh, I got Pickpocket Hall of Fame. It's like, well, that's not how 2K works. It's this thing called 2K IQ, and there's a thing called real life IQ. Mm-hmm. And when you're playing 2K, you got to have a good combination of both.
Well, let me say this too about that pickpocket thing, man. Like I have the luxury of being able to be an off-ball lock and an on-ball lock on my team. But I'll tell you this: when you reach, I've had this conversation with a couple of people on defense of late. When you reach, your guy is stunned. He will stop moving. The animation puts you in a standstill. And when they see you reach and you've hit air, what happens more often than not will be that the center slides up, hits you with a pick, and the point guard will green a 3. I will say 80% of the time. Because you can't get a contest. It's like you're basically triggering an ankle breaker on yourself when you do that.
Yeah, so, and a lot of people, like when the point guards hit the behind the back and they got tight handles Hall of Fame and your player feels like he's stunned for half a second, it does the same thing when you try to get a steal and don't get the ball. If you reach, you will get taught.
Every time.
And okay, so for the last, I just want to say, like, after this weekend, based on how everybody played and whatnot, if I had to surround myself with 5 players from this weekend, including myself, I probably would take Poor Boy at the 1. I'd probably have Blicky at the 2, Crazy at the 3, and somebody a wild card at the 4. I'd probably put Fleet at the 4. That would be my team. That would be my team after week 1. Now after week 2, you know what I'm saying? We gonna see. We're gonna see what boys.
Well, this tournament's more of a promotion for the season, the 6GL2 season, which will be starting in a couple of weeks. I mean, it's gonna.
Yeah, I know, but I know that I know that this upcoming weekend we're gonna finish the rest of the tournament and whatnot.
We should have a vote, like saying our players happy with the teams they have now. Like, would you be happy starting the season with the teams that you have now, or should whatever? Yes. You get what I'm saying? I'd like to see how people feel so far with the process of being with the draft and the players that they drafted and the chemistry.
I wouldn't mind seeing my options, testing testing the free agency. I ain't gonna lie, because I feel like a lot of times in the games that we were playing. Players were just playing just because they kind of had to. You know what I mean? And I don't really like.
I play to win.
I don't really like players that don't play to win. It don't matter. I don't give a damn. We playing rec, stage. I don't give a damn if we on the free throw. If we playing free throw golf, disc golf, dodgeball. I don't get on the game to lose. I don't turn my PlayStation. I don't turn my PlayStation on to lose. So I need to see some killers. For me personally, I need to see some centers that's filling up the stat sheets on the defensive end. So in the upcoming games, I need to see the center.
I have to say this: Avatar is definitely on the up and coming with the way he's been watching the lanes, though. I mean,
I need more.
Okay. I mean,
need more.
Heck yeah. Well,
I
you heard it
appreciate. Hey, look, be
You heard it first at
coachable
the
though.
Dimer Diner.
That the Dimer Diner with Coach Nate Bones Jones and my man Slap and 6GL finals. We out there, bit. You feel?
Appreciate y'all stepping into the show, and we'll be back at you with another one when the games progress on.
Yes.
Thanks, Coach Nate. Thanks, Bones Jones. And thank you to all the viewers.